What would you do if a stranger shivering in the rain whispered to you, "I have nowhere to sleep"? This isn't just a question. It's a story of kindness, sacrifice, and two broken souls finding hope in each other. Welcome to HQ Infinite Stories. The rain poured endlessly that night, turning the city streets into glowing rivers of neon light. At the corner of a dark alley stood a young woman, soaked, trembling, clutching a worn-out backpack to her chest. Her hollow eyes darted nervously, as if searching for a miracle in a city that had long stopped caring. That miracle came when Daniel, a tired young man, was locking the door of his tiny apartment. Their eyes met, and in that single moment, he understood her pain without a word spoken. Hunger, fear, loneliness. She whispered, almost afraid of her own voice, "I have nowhere to sleep." For a heartbeat, Daniel hesitated. Logic told him to close the door to protect himself. But compassion won. With a gentle motion, he stepped aside and said nothing, only invited her in. His apartment was small, barely enough for one. Yet that night it would shelter two. He handed her a towel, brewed a cup of tea, and watched as she tried to warm her trembling hands. The faint bruises on her arms, the tattered clothes, the way her eyes flinched at shadows. Daniel didn't ask questions. Sometimes kindness isn't about words. It's about action. He gave her his only sandwich. He gave her his only bed. And while she curled up, finally safe, he lay on the floor, aching but content, listening to the rain and her quiet breathing. For the first time in a long while, she wasn't afraid. For the first time in forever, he wasn't alone. Her name was Emily, barely 20. Her past was filled with broken families, abuse, and nights spent on cold benches. Yet in Daniel's tiny apartment, she found something priceless: safety. And Daniel, who had grown up in foster homes and carried his own scars, found something just as rare: purpose. Days turned into weeks. She helped him with little chores, smiled shyly at his clumsy cooking, laughed softly at his silly jokes. Each night she grew lighter, as if shedding years of fear. And each night Daniel felt less lonely, as though by giving her a home he had found one himself. One evening, Emily whispered, her eyes glistening under the lamp, "I've never felt safe before. Not like this." Daniel didn't answer. He just smiled, because sometimes the truest promises are kept without words. The city outside kept rushing, cars honking, sirens wailing. But inside, their small apartment became a sanctuary of kindness, hope, and unspoken healing. Daniel had given up his comfort, but in return, he gained something greater: the quiet knowledge that kindness has the power to save a life. Emily began to rebuild, slowly, courageously, looking for small jobs, daring to dream again. And Daniel, once a man of silent survival, discovered joy in giving. Two strangers, once broken, were piecing themselves back together, not through grand gestures, but through the smallest acts of love, because sometimes a bed, a warm towel, a sandwich, or simply listening without judgment can change someone's world. So remember this: kindness doesn't need wealth or perfection. It only needs courage. And on that rainy night, Daniel chose courage. And in doing so, he gave Emily more than shelter. He gave her hope. Outro: call to action. If this story touched your heart, let us know in the comments. Have you ever experienced kindness that changed your life? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to HQ Infinite Stories, because together we can keep kindness alive.